When you hear the words bank robbery, your mind probably jumps to a familiar image: a masked figure, a shouted command, a vault door grinding open in the dark. Now, erase all of it, because the robbery you're about to hear about didn't involve guns, alarms, or even a single person walking into a bank. It happened in total silence, through emails, through passwords, through lines of code. And when it was over, $81 million was gone. This is Cashed Out, and I'm your host, Michael Dwyer. And today's story takes us to Bangladesh, where one of the most audacious financial crimes in history unfolded without a single window being broken. Back in February 2016, hackers used the global banking system itself as their weapon. They didn't force their way in, they logged in. Their attack was planned over a year, carried out across multiple countries, and hidden behind trusted credentials. Many investigators believe it was backed by a nation state. Their target was the Bangladesh Bank, the central bank of an entire country. Their weapon was the people's trust. And the system they turned against itself was one that moves trillions of dollars every single day. This is the Bangladesh Bank cyber heist. Some robberies begin with a gun. This one began with an email. Think about how many messages you open every day without hesitation. Invoices, job applications, attachments that look boring enough to be harmless. Now, imagine that one of those emails was the first move in the largest bank robbery of the digital age. That's exactly what happened here. See, the Bangladesh Bank is not just another financial institution. It controls monetary policy, regulates the country's banks, and safeguards billions in national reserves. Tens of billions of dollars flowed through its systems every single year. And sometime in 2015, someone slipped inside, not physically, but digitally. Investigators will later determine that attackers most likely used what's called spear phishing, which are highly targeted emails designed to look completely legitimate. These weren't spam messages full of spelling errors. They looked like real documents, real job applications, real business correspondence. And eventually, someone clicked. A file was opened, and malware installed itself quietly. There were no pop-ups, no warnings, just invisible code that watched every keystroke, captured every password, tracked every login, and mapped the entire network. And from there, the malware spread. One computer became two became an entire server, and eventually, the attackers reached the most valuable system in the entire bank: SWIFT. Now, SWIFT stands for the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication. It's what's called the nervous system of global finance. Over 11,000 banks use it to send payment instructions across borders. SWIFT doesn't move money itself, it sends the instructions or the orders. And when those orders are trusted, then the money moves. And the hackers didn't just access SWIFT, they mastered it. They built custom malware designed specifically to interact with the SWIFT Alliance access software used inside the Bangladesh Bank. Cybersecurity firms later discovered that the attackers understood how messages were formatted, how transaction confirmations were generated, and how logs were being stored. They even understood something very few people would even consider: the bank's printers. See, every SWIFT transaction was supposed to generate a paper confirmation inside the bank, kind of a physical safety net. But the malware intercepted those confirmations and it replaced them with fake ones. And in some cases, it disabled the printers entirely. The bank's eyes had been blindfolded, and while that was happening in Dhaka, something else was happening overseas. Bank accounts were being opened in the Philippines and Sri Lanka. Shell companies, intermediaries, casinos were identified, and money routes were planned. This wasn't just a theft. This was a full-on extraction. The timing was everything. Bangladesh's weekend runs on Friday and Saturday. The US runs on Saturday and Sunday. And in the Philippines, it was the Chinese New Year, which was about to close businesses for an extended period. So on Thursday, February 4th, 2016, the fraudulent SWIFT messages began flowing from the Bangladesh's bank account at the Federal Reserve of New York. There were 35 transfer requests, totaling nearly $1 billion. They all looked legitimate. They all used real credentials and they all followed the correct protocol. Most of them were stopped, but 5 weren't. And those 5 totaled $101 million. And by the time the New York Fed began to notice something was wrong, Bangladesh had already shut down for the weekend. The emails they sent went unanswered. The phone calls that they made went nowhere. And on Sunday, when Bangladesh came back online, well, New York was closed. In total, there was a 4-day gap, a perfect storm of silence. And by the time the two banks finally connected, $81 million had already been sent to the Philippines. And just like that, it vanished. The money moved through Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation, where it was withdrawn in enormous physical bundles, over 1,500 kilograms of cash, and delivered to casinos. That cash became casino chips, the casino chips became bets, and those bets became winnings. And well, winnings look clean. See, at that time, the Philippine casinos weren't required to follow the same anti-money laundering laws that we have in the US. And once the money entered the casino system, well, the trail was shattered. The digital fingerprints went cold. So who was behind it? Well, the code tells the story. Cybersecurity firms including BAE Systems, Kaspersky, and Symantec tracked the malware to a hacking collective known as the Lazarus Group, a group widely known to be linked to North Korea. This wasn't random. In 2013, international sanctions had crippled North Korea's access to global banking. Cybercrime became a workaround per se. There was no ships, no missiles, they just used keyboards. The Bangladesh bank heist shared tools, infrastructure, and techniques with other Lazarus operations, including the infamous Sony Pictures hack. This wasn't desperation, it was policy. And the aftermath? Well, inside Bangladesh's bank, the truth really surfaced when employees noticed system errors and missing printouts. SWIFT logs told the real story. The money was gone. Investigators traced the trail to RCBC and a branch manager named Mai De Guido. Senate hearings in the Philippines exposed the casino connections, the foreign intermediaries, and massive cash withdrawals. A few people were charged, some money was recovered, but most of it disappeared forever. Banks around the world rewrote their security. SWIFT introduced new safeguards. Governments realized something chilling. that modern warfare doesn't always use bombs. Sometimes it just uses code. The screens went dark, the vaults were untouched, but the money was gone. $81 million didn't disappear with violence. It vanished through trust, through timing, and with some invisible hands. The Bangladesh bank heist didn't just steal money. It rewrote the rules of crime. It proved that the most dangerous robber in the world may never step inside the bank at all. That's today's story on Cashed Out. If you enjoyed this episode, follow the show and leave a review. It really does help reach more listeners. If there's a case you want covered or a story you want us to tell, you can reach out to us at cashedout.truecrimepodcast@gmail.com. New episodes drop every Monday. And until next time, stay vigilant, protect your money, and remember, not every thief leaves footprints you can follow.